Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial I'm going to show you step by step the process of making this viral Irish crochet cardigan. Whether you are new to making Irish crochets or already familiar with motifs, this video will guide you through everything from measurements and finishing touches. I've broken the tutorial down into 6 steps to complete the entire Irish crochet cardigan. Please check the description for breakdowns because not all of the steps may of course be relevant to you. Okay, so now for the measurements. I would strongly advise cutting out your measurements on a sheet of paper and not using a pre-existing cardigan or a jumper that you have to gauge as a template to measure your size on. The reason is a lot can go wrong. I have published a video of a green Irish crochet cardigan that I completed. It's huge. The sleeves are long, it's really frumpy. It does look pretty, but the measurements are not right. And I used a cardigan that is quite stretchy as a template. So to follow this, you're going to need a tape measure, scissors. Where are my scissors gone? My scissors are right here. Pen, pencil, tape, and a few sheets of paper to join together. We're going to need measurements of your shoulder to shoulder, underarm to underarm, bust, width of your waist and the width of your hips, the length that you want to keep your cardigan at, the start of your shoulder around, sorry, excuse me, what am I talking about? Your arm, and then the width of your elbow, and then the width of your wrist. So if you've gone off to get your measurements, I would suggest taking a screenshot of this template right now. So 1, shoulder to shoulder, underarm to underarm is 2, bust is 3, waist is 4, hips are 5, and then the length is, let's say, 6, and then the shoulder here, we'll say it's 7, and then the elbow, we'll say it's 8, and the wrist, we'll say is 9, okay? So friends, what I would recommend doing is jotting down your measurements on a sheet of paper, and then what we need to do is, because we're making a front panel and a back panel template, and then the arms are going to be separate, I would recommend dividing most of these by 2. So you see the shoulder to shoulder, my measurement is 33. So I'm not going to do 33 because I'm making 2 templates, so I need to divide this by half. That comes out to be 16.5. My underarm to underarm is 28. So that's going to come to 14 inches for me. My bust is 29.5 all the way around. So that's going to come to, 29. That's going to come to 14.5 for me. My waist is going to come to 14 because it's 28 inches. My hips are 38 inches. So again, divide that, and we're going to do the same with the arms because of the front panel and the back panel. The only number that you are not going to divide is the length, because the length is going to be the same on the front and the back, right? So my longest measurement happens to be my shoulders, which is 16.5. Guys, I don't know if that's unusual. I feel like I'm built like a man now. Can you drop in the comments if your measurements are like mine? Like my bust is small, my hips are small, and then I've got 16.5 inch shoulders. Like, seriously? So I've got 16.5 inches going across. So I'm going to leave 4 sheets of paper joined together with tape. And then I've got 1 panel here for the arm. And then I've got a second panel here for the arm. So shoulder to shoulder, my shoulders of course sit about, we're going to do about there. So 16.5 inches, wherever that cuts off to, let's say for argument's sake it's about there, I'm going to go ahead and trim the excess off. Guys, I'm so sorry, I don't have a tripod, so I'm trying to like freehand this and record it at the same time. So I went ahead and trimmed the excess off of the sides. So my shoulders literally start from these corners here. I've got underarm to underarm, then I've got chest measurement to chest measurement. I think that was 14.5, and then we've got the waist measurement, and then we've got the hip measurement here. Just draw around this, put it up against your body as well. Grab a mirror, put it up against your body, and just briefly just trace around it. Ta-da! This is what the shape of my body looks like. So this is going to stop at the waist side. So it's going to come to about here, right in the middle. So what I'm saying is, your template may look huge, but persevere, carry on with it. I'm going to fold this in half and then just cut around it to make it exactly the same. Ta-da! Now, please add a few more sheets of paper for the length, your desired length. I'm going to do that later. Okay, friends, now for the arms. As I said at the start, we're going to need 3 measurements of the arm. We're going to need like the top bit of the arm, divide that by 2. Because we're going to have a front panel for the arm, back panel for the arm. Same thing with your elbow. So my elbow goes from there to there. And then the wrist. My wrist is teeny weeny. Again, I've divided that by 2. And then just roughly sketch it. And then cut it out. Okay, friends, so we've got the body. And then we've got the arm right here. It's just going to sit like that. Your panels, you're going to end up doing this, look. I would even go ahead and cut this panel in half if I were you. So my neckline is going to probably go like that. Like that. So you're not joining panel 1 and 2 together, because remember the cardigan, you've got a front opening. So you're going to end up with something like this. First panel. Second panel. The left side, the right side. Third panel. Fourth panel. And then the back. The big panel, 5. The panel on the left, 6. And the right arm, 7. You're going to end up with 7 panels in total. Go ahead and make another 3 arms, because I've only got 1 here. That's the front panel. I'm going to make the back panel of this. And then I'm going to make the right arm as well. And then I'm going to make the back panel. You don't have to make a separate back panel if you don't want to. Because you see the back panel, the key difference is I'm going to go ahead and cut out the neckline on this one. You don't of course, you're not going to cut the neckline out on the back panel, because the back's going to be a straight neck. Okay. I'm using a 2.5mm and some quite thin yarn here. So what we're going to start off by doing is, to make this crochet flower, we're going to take the yarn, 2 fingers, and we're going to wrap the yarn around about 7 times. Done. Take a crochet hook and just remove the circle that you've made and bring it to the center. Take your crochet hook, put it through the circle, and take some yarn from the back, slip stitch. And we've slip stitched. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and slip stitch around the threads of yarn until we reach the end. So can you see how that's coming along? Just go ahead and carry on slip stitching around it. Okay, friends, we've arrived at the end of our single stitching, and we're going to go ahead and just slip stitch into the first chain there. There we go, we've got our center. Now, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would always recommend chaining 5 plus if you're making a center like this, because of the size of this. If you make smaller chains, your flower's going to almost look like this with its petals. And guys, I'd like for you to get creative here. Like, look at this center. We need to make 5 petals on here, so I'm probably gonna go and put a slip stitch in here, in this space here. There we go. That is the first space for the petal there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 5 again. I'm gonna go ahead and pop one in there. 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you can see, I'm literally just gauging where I want to place the petals, and this is completely up to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we'll pop one in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if your spaces here are not completely even, that's not a problem. We can improvise. I'm gonna go ahead and maybe pop one in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is my first petal, so looking at that space, this is going to be a bit wider, but I'm going to carry on and I want to show you how this turns out. Slip stitch. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces there. Well, we're going to petal spaces there. I'm going to slip stitch into the first space, and we're going to do a half double crochet to start with. I'm going to go ahead and put in about 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Lovely. You can do more or less if you're going for more of a fuller petal, but I'm going to stick with 7. Double half crochet and just go ahead and slip stitch. We're going to do that in all 4 remaining petals, and I'm going to meet you back here. Okay friends, we're here and we're approaching the last petal, and I'm just going to repeat again how to do a petal because I know I've done that quite quickly. So I've slip stitched, double half crochet, and then double crochet times 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, double half crochet, and then slip stitch, and then slip stitch always into that first petal that we started there. I am so pumped. I have to show the panels just close up again, because on the mannequin it's all crinkled together. It doesn't do it justice. So do you remember the templates we made? So this is the back panel. That's your neck. That's going to be straight. Shoulder. And then, look, you want to keep this as straight as you possibly can. Right? Can you see how mine gets wider? Because I've accommodated for the length. And I also want it to be a little bit flowy on the bottom. I'll just show you the detail on this. I really like the 3D flowers on here, like this one. And I've got a few more up here. And I've done some really big motifs on here as well. We've got the left front panel. Got the right front panel. Again, these two are the same size because I cut around the paper and I just repeated the template. Then I have 4 arms. And I just want you to pay close attention to how these get smaller in size, because again I've made them to really fit my arms, plus give or take about 3 inches. Okay, join your panels together. So I've got my left front panel, I've got my right front panel, I've got the back of my arm there, I've got the front of my arm there, then I've got the other back of my arm here, and then I've got the other front of my arm here. I would strongly recommend starting to seam from the underarms, going all the way down, and then the other side. And then I would recommend doing the arms last. Because another thing that I'm going to make sure I do is, having learnt from my previous prototype, I'm going to make the front of the cardigan as straight as I possibly can. As you can see, because of the motifs, it's kind of wonky. I'm still thinking about putting a border. How am I going to make it straight? It's with these little circular motifs. Example, I will put one right here, and I'm going to try and straighten that out as much as I can. How to join these together, exactly how you've joined these panels together. You will go ahead and seam it and join it there. Make a couple more motifs, because if you need to add just 1 or 2 more motifs when you're joining it here, you can do so. And yeah, guys, that's step 4. Panels should all be assembled. What we're going to do next is we're going to look at putting a border on here, if you wish. If you're happy with how your piece has turned out so far, you could absolutely stop here, but I'm missing a belt from this, and I'm missing a border. And then for the border, I think I'm going to run a border all the way around the neck, all the way around the front, but also the bottom panel here as well. So I'm thinking of doing a quite a simple border, because we've got a lot going on here, and I don't want to take away from the beauty of the motifs by putting in something really exaggerated here on the borders. So I will show you how to do that now. Okay, for the belt, I decided to keep it really simple, just a standard panel. Quite a small panel I'm going for, and I will show you how to go about starting this. We're going to start off by just slip stitching, and we're going to chain 1, 2 and 3. So we've got 4 chains in total. Skip the first chain, going to double crochet into the 3rd chain. Voila. We're going to double crochet into the 2nd chain, and then finally we're going to do another double crochet in that last chain there. There we go. Chain 2, turn the work around, and we've got 1, 2 and 3. Excuse my nails, I need to paint them. We've got 3 chains there, 1, 2 and 3, and double crochet into that first chain there, double crochet into that second chain there, and double crochet in the last one, and literally just keep going. So you're turning your work around like so, and you're doing 3 double crochets, and you should have quite a long chain that looks something like this when it's finished. Okay friends, I'm back with my cardigan and my panel. Now when I put my panel against, so this is my right side that I've got flat on the surface here. If I put that straight, can you see how it's a little bit gappy? Like I've got spaces here. This is the nature of the Irish crochet work that we do. So I am going to absolutely make sure that this is straight, this panel. So what I will need to do is I may need to add in some of these small circular motifs. As you can see, that's gonna be nice for me to stitch into. Here I think I will go for another one right there to make this as straight as possible, and this petal here I will join it here to this motif, and then I've got a little bit of space here to stitch and make this as straight as I possibly can. I would recommend making quite a few of these because you may need them if you are going to go ahead and put a panel on your work. I haven't ended my panel. I've made just quite a long panel, and I'm going to carry on making it longer because I'm going to keep building on this, and I'm going to run it around all of my... border is complete, as you can see. I think that it really helps tie in all of the motifs. I'm glad that I kept it quite plain, as you can see here. What I'm going to go ahead and do is add a belt now. I'm going to do the belt exactly the same as the previous step with the border. So I will start to work on that, and once that's complete I will meet you back. Please make 3 smaller loops to connect the belt. So we will put probably a loop there, a loop there, and then one at the back right in the middle of the cardigan. That's just to hold the belt. I would recommend making that literally out of 2 chains, and we're going to do that the size of the belt. And here is the finished result. We've got a beautiful border, and then we've got the belt that we made towards the end. That was the last step. And I just want to give you a picture of how thick the strap is on my belt, the belt loop rather. I've got one here, I've got another on this side, and then I've got one on the back there. I hope you enjoyed my video and it was helpful for you in making your project. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but it means the absolute world to me.